Hey, Bold Thinkers, it's Kanesha Baynard from boldlivingtoday.com. I hope everybody is doing well as expected. It's been an exhausting week for me. I'm not sure about you, but it's been a week of high level advocacy and activism, and I'm here for it. But I've had to also take some breaks to take good care of myself. So hopefully, you have afforded yourself that same opportunity of resting and refueling and then getting back at it and getting back into the activism game at whatever level you're at and reaching out to people if you're not exactly sure what to do, to get help, to get support, to get educated, and to really show your community, in addition to the Black community, that you are there in solidarity and you're going to do the work and you're going to show up and you're going to be an actual ally instead of a performative ally, because I've had a lot of conversations this week about that. So today I just wanted to come and give an update about a great experience I had this week. I was able to speak with a group of entrepreneurs, women entrepreneurs, which I'm very passionate about since I'm also an entrepreneur myself. And I put together a presentation for them around three guideposts. Um, Three guideposts to reduce or to burnout proof yourself as an entrepreneur. And I know with COVID-19 and all the pivoting people have had to do with their businesses, or businesses being really hard hit and not being sure if you can go on in your current state or if you had to switch gears or whatever you were navigating. I know that was a lot of stress for a lot of people, myself included, and then how to really take good care of yourself and then your business and your family and other areas of your life that you had to deal with. So I just wanted to give you a little highlight um, from the discussion and different things that people have reached out to asking questions about, and to just really focus on their inner wellness as well as their outer wellness while they are dealing with burnout and also dealing with racial injustice. So it's a lot. It's such a swirl. So I talked about the three types of burnout when I did this presentation. And a lot of times when we say burnout, we just use it as a blanket statement. And for people who are going through my 5-part Beyond Burnout program, we talk about the three types of burnouts and different ways that it's connected to your productivity profile. So I think it's super important, especially as a productivity strategist, to talk to people about what your productivity profile is, what that means for you. What are your strengths? How do you plan? How do you organize? How do you manage your time? Where are the areas that you absolutely excel, and where are the areas where you need more support and guidance? And so I think that's the initial step to making sure that you set yourself up to not be burned out. So, and if you're going toward burnout, which happens to some of us, there are three levels. There's overload, overload burnout, there's under challenge burnout, and there's neglect burnout. And since we have been in this situation of quarantining, sheltering in place, shifting every aspect of our lives, whether it's working from home, having your kids learn from home, going out with a mask, I always talk to my friends about, now I feel like I'm carrying this new baby bag because I have to put the wipes and the gloves and the mask and sanitizer and all this stuff. There's so much more prep around living our regular lives that can contribute to burnout, and specifically overload burnout. And when we're in the space of overload burnout, that's when people are just working harder and more frantically in what they want to do to be successful in their business, to pivot it well, to be successful in their daily life, to be successful in supporting their kids, to be successful in doing social justice work, and taking risk in their work, in their lives, stepping up, stepping out, and speaking. It can be a lot. So of the three types of burnout, I see overload burnout being very high for high achievers, being very high for entrepreneurs, and overload burnout is really linked to uh, two specific productivity profiles, one of those being the director and one of those being the developer. And I have a whole presentation on the focus protocol that talks about this, that outlines productivity profiles. And I also do coaching sessions specific to people so they can understand it and plan based on it. So a couple of things about if you feel like you're in the overload burnout phase, you definitely want to spend more time listening to what your body's saying, making sure you're talking about your thoughts, anything that's swirling, anything that's bothering you. Try not to take on too much at a rapid pace. You're allowed to take on different things, but you might have to pace yourself. And I've been having conversations with that specific group that I presented to on Tuesday, and then also with my own clients and business colleagues, and then business people I just know through communities. We're really trying to understand, well, some of us are really trying to understand how to really be allies or to be a social justice focused business on top of what you're already asking. And people are scrambling. And I know I've had some very heartfelt conversations, and I've also had some very difficult conversations, and I've had some, why am I even wasting my time conversations with people in business. And I think a lot of people, in their business, they think about, I want to serve all people. I want them to know that they're comforted, and I want them to know that we care about them, and I want them to know that we're committed to diversity, and we're committed to high service, and we're committed to our communities. And I think that's fantastic. And sometimes we have to amplify what that looks like, what that means, and who we're really saying we're supporting. So I just put that out there just because I know people are struggling on so many levels, and it seems like the heat keeps getting higher, and that we're all in the hot seat for different things. And to that, I say, you have to take care of yourself to not get burned out, but you don't get to check out. You get to take some breaks, but you don't get to take all breaks. And if you decide to opt out, that's also a choice, but you have to think about what that signals to people who have supported you, people who might want to hire you or collaborate with you, and people who really see how your brand, your business, your services, or whatever the case may be, actually are inclusive, how they're intersectional, and how they really speak to the needs of, our particular place and time. So the other piece, outside of just talking about the 3 different types of burnout, I talked about core business culture, and I think this is super important. The word core stands for different things. The C is for clear client profile. The O is for overlaying your story. The R is for reassessing your business transactions. Are they transactional or are they transformational? And then the E stands for executing, and how are you going to get all those different things done. And I think right now, to speak to what I just mentioned about a social justice mission for your work, really putting some action behind your diversity statements and things like that, it's super important to understand your client profile. Maybe you wrote this, you created this when you first started your business, and maybe that was a year ago, maybe that was 10 years ago, maybe that was a month ago, or whatever the case may be. If you are going to be a responsive group, organization, business, you really have to update your client profile as the nature of your community, as the nature of society, as the nature of our nation shifts, as the nature of international global things shift. So now might be a really good time to take another look at your client profile, see what the message is there, and see how you're getting that message out, and seeing how you can continue to connect, continue to support, and potentially update what that would look like for your client profile. So those are some takeaways from the presentation on Tuesday. I am currently working on 2 trainings, 2 workshops for small business owners or people who run culturally competent organizations, or who are focused on women, or who are focused on teens. So I'm really reaching out because people have asked me for it, to extend the conversations, to extend the training. So information will be coming out about that next week. It'll be in my newsletter. So if you're not linked in with the Bold Living Today community, you can find that information in the comment section of this post, or you can look on my website, boldlivingtoday.com, just to find out more. And, I make my work very interactive. We talk about the concepts, we get an understanding of the concepts, and then you get a worksheet, a workbook, a tool to really put those things in place. So I love teaching. I've been in the teaching game for a very long time, and I'm really excited to bring this information to you, even though that wasn't on my quarterly plan. So I am making some shifts just to serve the people who have asked me for these things and who want to learn more about it, and to really build an inclusive environment for themselves, their workspace, the clients that they serve, and their community. So I hope you check those out, and I hope you have a great day. And please, 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 everybody, stay safe, wear your mask, social distance, and take good care of everybody.